grade hose, but then only use it to fill your water barrels. Don't cross-use it for things in the yard. So just fill it up with tap water. Now, how long will that last? You need to rotate, depending on the method that you use, you need to rotate that water every year. If you add bleach to it, and you can call Clorox, I think I put the 800 number on there, the standard is 1 teaspoon for every 10 gallons. So you need about 5½ teaspoons to fill your barrel. That will prevent any algae or bacteria or anything from growing in your water. But you know, bleach is not stable. It has a shelf life. So every year it has to be rotated, which is fine. It's a chore to me that's worse than defrosting the freezer. It's one of those things I don't like to do. So I was really happy when we found this water preserver concentrate. You can add, this is an additive. It's made as a team, as a system. So you can see this is for the 55-gallon barrel. You pour this, the contents of this solution in as you're filling that, just so it'll get dispersed. And this will preserve your water for 5 years. Now I've done this 3 times in my life and it works. The first time I let it go 5 years, that's when it tasted like plastic. The second time I let it go 6½ years. That water was perfect. Well, it was perfectly clean. It tasted stale. Now, when water sits for a long time, it just gets a stale flavor. How do you get rid of the stale flavor? Aerate it. Yeah, you want to you just want to introduce water. You can agitate it. You can pour it back and forth. You just want to introduce air into it, and you will significantly increase the flavor of your water. And then the third time we did it, it was just 5 years again, but it really, really works. So 5 years, yes.
What if you just are real afraid of putting chemicals in them? Will bacteria really grow if it just sits in the barrel?
Well, most likely not, I would say. But here's the problem. When you do things yourself and you touch things, your oils, your hands, and everything get in it, and so you don't really know if you've contaminated anything or what's in there. And so it could, I've actually heard of people who don't put anything and they've lasted a couple of years. On the studies that Clorox has done, they say you do need to put an additive to it. And then they recommend putting the bleach and then rotating it once a year. But try it. Put it in for a year and see what happens. Taste it, look at it, give it a whirl. This is a sodium hypochlorite, but it's a pH balanced, so it does the same thing that a bleach will do, but because it's stable, it will last for 5 years. But it is a sodium hypochlorite. I don't know what to tell you. That's a good question. But that is the standard, what they do tell you.
If you're drinking water that you've used Clorox with, and you're rotating it every year, I'm assuming the amount of Clorox you're getting when you drink is no different than this, right?
Probably not, but you know, bleach will dissipate
right.
too.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But
if you're dumping it out and adding a new one, it's a small amount. It's been tested over and over and over, and it is perfectly fine for human consumption. There's no worries. And it's 100% guaranteed by the company. Back here, Panna?
Can we talk about our barrels if they're used?
Oh, absolutely. Now, they will not, this company will not guarantee this to work effectively if you've used a used barrel. Now, the reason why is similar to what we talked about just a minute ago about the plastic being porous. A lot of people will buy barrels and they'll say, oh, they've only had Coca-Cola in them, or oh, they've only had fruit juice. Well, the porous is plastic, and as it sits, it gets saturated, and in those pores, the fruit juice or the Coca-Cola will leach into those pores. Well, you come along and say, oh, I want to use it for water now. So you rinse it, you rinse it, you rinse it, you fill it up. You cannot rinse the food-grade material that is in the pores. You cannot rinse it out. So here's what you do. And then it will leach out as it saturates again. it'll leach out and it can contaminate your water. So here's what you do. You fill the water up, let it sit and saturate, draw all of that out, put bleach in it, let it kill it all. This isn't going to be water you're going to drink. Let it kill it all, sit there, let it sit for several weeks, get fully saturated, get it all out, and you can even put it, if you're not planning to drink it, put plenty of bleach. Put like a half a cup in there. Let it kill everything, then dump it. Don't dump it on your lawn or anywhere that you want it to kill anything, because if you put plenty of bleach, it will kill your lawn if you dump it on your lawn. But dump it out, rinse it very well, and then you're good to go. Okay, then you can use, they still won't guarantee it, but this will work. It'll be fine. You can fill it, you can put the bleach, you can do this, and you can treat it like it were a new barrel. But do let it saturate first, sit and draw out if you've had any food grade, because it will leach back into your water. So, yes.
I apologize for asking this being late. You probably already
You're
covered
good.
this. Did you talk about what kind of plastic you need so it doesn't leach into the water?
You know, all of these, you just want them to be the BPA-free plastic. But all of the water barrels are, if you look, they'll say this. Anything now, especially because that's been an issue, they'll put their stickers on it that it's BPA-free. That's what you're going to look for. But in the water industry, that's all it is now. So look for it, make sure. But as I'm going around and finding things, I'm finding that they have all really converted now to the plastic.
So is that a Walmart one? The big blue barrel?
No, that's a Contigo barrel that I got from a manufacturer in California. But
Walmart has something kind of like that.
yeah, there's different manufacturers, and they all have a little different shape to them. Some of them won't have this lip. I like the lip because it makes it easier to carry when it's empty. Yes.
Where do you get that product from?
You know what? We're going to order, this will be on the order form, so we can get this. I have to bring them in from California. I don't know anywhere that sells them here. There are other companies. In fact, this is a new company, a relatively new company, that's out of Logan. It's called Aquamera, and they've come out to what they feel is a comparable product to this. It's a lot more expensive, and I don't like the way you have to mix these and let it sit for a little while, and then you have to add it to your water. So, and it's made to kill everything, but if you're putting tap water in, I don't think you need this kind of a strength. I mean, it's a chlorine dioxide, and it's very strong, and it kills. They've got a kill rate on here, and I'm saying, you know, if you're using water that's tap water, that's clean to begin with, and drinkable water, if you were going to store non-drinkable water and you wanted to store it in here, I would use something like this. For your tap water and your good water, the water preserver concentrate is perfect, and it's less expensive. But I do think this is kind of a cool product. If you had to store water in a barrel and you weren't sure if it were drinkable water to start with, then you could use a product like that.
How much is that?
These are $10. They sell these ones over here at $14.95. So $10 for 5 years, it's about $2 a year. For me, the time in dumping the barrel and the 55 gallons I waste every year, or not waste, but you'd put them onto your, you know, you put it into your plants or whatever, but then you'd have to pay for the 55 gallons of new water. I mean, for me, the $2 a year that saves me that grief, man, hands down, it's not a question. It's not a question. Okay, any other questions on how we're going to store the water, the water we're going to use, and how we're going to store it? Always label that barrel. You may remember, I did that in the summer of 2010, you know. You may or you may not remember. And if you're not there, if you're on vacation or somebody's staying at your house or whatever, they need to know that barrel. They need to know when it was filled and when it needs to be rotated. Anybody who looks at that barrel should be instantly aware of how old that water is. So label, you could just get any mailing label and just slap it on. Did I see a question back here?
Yeah, did the manufacturer recommend against putting Country Time or any other product in the water storage?
You know, good question. I have not ever asked them that. But they are water grade and not, well, they're still food grade. But my feeling is if they don't want it to have, you know, if it can leach into the plastic,